to upgrade my NAS to a new platform with a newer CPU and more RAM. The old NAS hardware will be used in a future project in building my own router and upgrading my home network to fiber. Ideally, I will be able to save the NAS hard drive configuration and be able to save all of my data. However, the new case doesn't have enough hard drive space, so I decided to 3D print my own. Check out how I got the job done. Since I don't make that sweet YouTuber money, I need to be able to reuse as many components as possible. I just need to find a way to mount 4 more hard drives, the case only has mounts for 2, in a way that will also allow airflow. For the components that I do purchase, it would be best if I can buy an upgrade for my workstation, then hand down the previous parts to the NAS. Also, I think it would be cool if I created a 3D printable hard drive bay. Some integrated 3D printed TPU vibration dampers would be great. The parts of my current NAS, shown in my first video for this channel, that are being replaced are the Ryzen 7 5700G, 16GB of DDR4, a B450 motherboard, and a Corsair CV550 80 Plus white power supply. I plan on using these parts for a future project. The upgraded NAS will have a Ryzen 7600X, 32GB of DDR5, a B650M motherboard, and a Be Quiet Pure Power 850W 80 Plus gold power supply. The PSU is overkill for this application, but I decided to upgrade my workstation to the 1000W Be Quiet BN516 Straight Power 80 Plus Platinum, since I will very likely need more power for future upgrades. Those future dreams involve both a Ryzen 9950X and an NVIDIA 5090. The only problem is, the case only has built-in spaces for 2 hard drives, so naturally, I need to make my own space for the other 4. Let's take a look at what's on the market already. The first thing I saw on Amazon were these rubber spacers that act as a skeleton frame. I think it is interesting minimalist design and allows for maximum airflow with vibration dampening. However, the product is clearly meant to be used on a desktop as more of a temporary diagnosing tool. There's no way to attach the brackets to a case, nor a shroud to help direct airflow and improve aesthetics. Amazon is flooded with listings of the same hard drive cage with different company names attached to it. It is a basic mass-produced product that is too large for my use case, doesn't include vibration dampening, and is just ugly in my opinion. The hard drive cage does support attaching a fan to it though. Of course I had to head over to Printables to get a sample of what other makers have done. These options have a benefit of being 3D printable, can potentially hold many drives, and can even include a shroud to hold a fan. However, in this example that most closely matches my use case, there's no space to allow for airflow to pass over the drives, even if I did mount a fan to it. Most importantly, it is not in the form factor that I need, just like all the other listings that I saw. There are also a lot of repeating designs on Printables, so the number of listings doesn't actually represent a large amount of variety. Now that I looked at some existing options, let me show you what I came up with. I came up with a semi-modular design that can hold up to 3 hard drives per cage. Individual cages can be installed together with a cable shroud attaching them together. I even included an attachment for a 92mm fan that could go on both ends of the stack. The hard drives are spaced so that there could be plenty of airflow past the hard drives with little resistance. This was designed with the intention of using removable adhesives to adhere to the power supply shroud of a PC case. The hard drives are mounted to the rails that include a spacer that could be 3D printed out of a flexible material like TPU to provide some vibration dampening. The whole thing screws together using a standard PC fan screws that most people probably have a bunch of already, and standard hard drive mounting screws, of course. After printing the 6 hard drive configuration, I realized that the HBA card conflicts. I ended up making another configuration that holds 5 hard drives, but most importantly has clearance for the HBA card. The last drive will have to go in one of the 2 hard drive spaces included in the case. After snapping together the rigid and flexible pieces of the rails can be screwed into the hard drives, then the drives can be installed into the cages. Now I will attach the fan attachment. The first thing to do when installing the cages is to stick one side of the command strips or double-sided tape to the cage. The peel will be removed from the other side when I'm ready to stick the cages in the case. Now, before sticking the cages to the case, I will start plugging in the hard drives. Now that I know where I want the assembly to go, I will remove the peel from the command strips and press the assembly in place. I unfortunately underestimated the amount of extra cords I was going to have with this build, so I was not able to install the extra fan. Oh well, the hard drives won't be producing a bunch of heat for long periods of times in my case. Now I'm ready to set up the NAS. Now hopefully it will be as easy as just letting the NAS boot, but anything in life rarely goes as expected. It seemed to just work. Even the local IP address is the same. Let's log in and take a look. There it is, 7600X, 32 gigs of RAM, and all 7 drives. Well, I guess let's do a test transfer. Well, it looks like that if you're nervous about upgrading your TrueNAS scale system with new CPU, motherboard, and RAM, and adding an HBA card with completely different port configurations for your drives, you don't need to be. I expect there to be some level of troubleshooting for this, but TrueNAS Scale supports it with no issue. Thank you for watching. Please consider liking, commenting, and subscribing. Don't forget to share this video with anyone who might be interested, and thanks for sticking around.